Guys, so different times I try to find we try to find the right way to say things, and other times we just try to get to the point. So I'm gonna try to get to the point and make this make sense. When you're thinking collectively about business and change, you need to be thinking about something that's way bigger than what's in front of you, and this is much bigger than a dog. And I'm saying that because I've studied business, and I study business, and I study business, and I'm always fascinated by it. Jack and I, we watched the BlackBerry story the other day, and you go, wow, at one point, BlackBerry owned 45% of the phone market, and they literally went from 45% to zero. Now, in the business world, that's scary. And then we talked about all the problems and poor choices that they made. So part of this is me giving you advice. Other things is prepping you to think about things in a bigger way. I believe a guy named Paul Zane Pizer wrote a book almost 10 years ago. Let me find this thing. And it was Health and Wellness, the Next $1 Trillion Industry. And what he said, imagine if someone told you that Ford was coming. Imagine if you were at the beginning of an industry like the .com boom, and you knew exactly where to put your money, where to build a business, how to affect change, and how to be successful. Imagine if someone did that. Well, he tried to do that, and I don't think many people read the book. I did. And it was a pretty good book, and I didn't see anywhere where he was wrong. And health and wellness, as you know, it is a big business. And it's a black hole because they collect data and can't even share it. What I'm saying is, if you're familiar with HIPAA, what ends up happening, you can't even send it to the next doctor, or your doctor, or whatever. So you always are losing, to say the least. That being said, right now we're in the dog industry, and one of my favorite people that I've studied over the years is a guy named J.P. Morgan. What has J.P. Morgan done? He allows everyone to do all the work, and then he comes in and he compiles all your work, brings it all together, and he creates General Electric, General Steel. He generalizes something and takes it to $1 billion, $1 trillion. Very few people have done that since then, because so many people are super concerned about themselves. And unfortunately, in this case, I don't live through my dogs, people. We're here to help dogs. So when we put this dog thing together, it was only based on how we could affect change, inspire people, and how much value we could give. So you don't see me promote how much our dogs weigh, how smart they are. Matter of fact, I tell you, I can't stand my dogs, and my dogs ain't, you know the word. So I've gotten a lot of messages, and I don't reply to much anymore. I respond every now and then on Fridays, and some people I get back to, and then there's some people who have my number straight up, and they can call me. And kudos to you guys, because that right there in itself is a feat. I don't like people having my number, but if you got it, you got it. And I would just say this: there was a fitness boom. So when you're looking at the fitness boom, you're seeing all these people become personal trainers. Personal trainers is a dead-end road. I'm sorry. It just is. It just is. There's no retirement options. There's no future in it. It's just nothing. It's like you cool with muscles for a certain amount of time. You work for a gym or even own your own gym. But there's a cap, and then it gets boring. And who wants to sit around and listen to people and they crap every day, all day, while they work out and break a sweat? Not me. And I've been down that road, to be clear, people, but I focused on solving problems in terms of shoulder, back, knees, spinatus, labrum, rotator, chronomalacia, real problems. Not how big or how much weight I could get a person to lose. So when we're thinking about the dog space, there are a lot of things that are happening right now. And some people are they think they're getting ahead of the curve. But as I've told my guys and my team, industries take 10 years to mature. Dogs have been around for 35,000 years. The industry's right at about 4 billion, under 10 realistically, and it's going to grow. Our job is to contribute to that industry at a very high level. Even if it's 100 billion, that's nothing in comparison to where you could take it. And I do think that as care becomes a factor, people are going to become very interested in the dog's quality of life. And our job is to sit there and be the MVPs when all this stuff hits the fan. So You say, what does all this mean? I appreciate everyone and all people who reached out and want to get involved with what we're doing. It's going to be impossible, if I'm being honest with you, for you to do so. I have no interest in scaling the team. At some point, each team member gets a choice in terms of who they want to hire and how they want to bring people in. But let me be very clear, nobody ever talks to me. There's 2 people, 3, 5 tops that ever have a discussion with me. And that's it. And that's how realistically big businesses run. You know how many people, my buddy, for instance, he works at a facility in Amazon here in Texas. They have 4 facilities. He's one of the top people there. He runs all the money stuff. The building's 1.5 million square feet. It's 57 miles. 57 miles of conveyor belt. You know how many times you've seen Jeff Bezos? And out of his facility, they ship 5 to 6 million packages a week. There's 4 of those facilities, and no package that leaves his particular facility is over 25 pounds. They've got planes on the side, Amazon Airway. They've got all these things, and he ain't had a conversation with Jeff Bezos, and he makes a good amount of money. So you say, how does infrastructure work? How does business work? How do you grow and scale a business and a brand? Well, a business and a brand are 2 different things. Most people don't know that. And they need each other to support each other's growth. So when you're thinking about, let's just say doing dog training, you want to be a dog trainer, good luck. Eventually, I'll pay a couple dog trainers a lot of money to scale and manage facilities that we create. And I don't mean, we're not even going to walk down that road. I'm not going to walk you through everything. We have 10 to 20 years of work. But when you're building your team, think from the top down. Smart people to tell you, hire from the top down. What does that mean? If you have a CEO mentality, then you need an operations guy. If you are an operations guy, that means you could probably manage some money, but you need a CFO. Which means you need to hire somebody who's really good with money. Because if there's a good business, money's going to be coming in hand over fist. And then believe it or not, Sergey Page and Larry Brin, the guys who started Google, they turned around and they hired a CEO because I think they learned from some businesses out there, if I'm being honest, now that I'm looking at time frames and when stuff was happening, you go, wow, that was right then and there. That's crazy when you think about it. They say, look, we need a CEO because we don't make the best choices. And we don't know business. That's literally what they said. Who you are and where you're at today isn't where you're going to be in the future. And it takes 10 to 20 years for you to even become who you're supposed to be. It's not ironic that people begin to thrive in their 50s. Like you remember Leonardo DiCaprio and Gilbert Grapes, but you remember Leo and Gatsby. You remember him in The Revenant. You remember him in, even Catch Me If You Can is a good movie. But the movies, the Django even, like you remember, you know who he is now because he knows who he is. And even Jordan from his first commercial with Spike Lee to Maybe I Messed Up the Game. Those are 2 different Jordans. Super impactful, super important, but the conversation is different because it took him 10, 15 to figure out who he wanted to be. But the game, the game's a game. So I encourage you, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you've been paying attention and you're getting all these gems, you're getting the credit. You're getting the business. You're getting the dogs. You're getting disease. You're seeing the opportunity. Don't get caught up on no dog people. Anybody can breed. Anybody can breed. The hell, the dog can breed itself. It don't need you. When you're thinking about change and really making a difference in this world, you got to think bigger. You got to think, where is there actually going to be change? Because I assure you, not even us, we're not going to do something so spectacular that we change the world when it comes to breeding. But we will change the quality of life long term by studying disease and quality of life for pets, animals, definitely dogs, and things that are near and dear to our heart, even on the human side. But it's a long play. So if you're seeing stuff and you're on social media, you're getting reactive to the things that are taking place, pause, take a deep breath. Don't rush the process or your process. And I assure you, don't even know what the process is 9 out of 10 times. Nobody does. And eventually you figure it out and it all comes together. So you say, hey, what's next for Fit Bully? Well, we'll have a diverse private equity firm that will be ran by culturally inept people who can make sound decisions based on things that other people are doing in other communities that can change things. Every community has a lot of buying power. African Americans often have $1.3 trillion worth of buying power, but we have no wealth because we don't spend any money with ourselves. Jews go and do Jewish things, Asians do Asian things. Everybody has a culture, but African Americans, I like some of that African stuff. Dudes that be wearing the white, with the little slit right there with the little white tees and whatnot. I like that stuff. You know, Wesley Snipes likes watching, wearing Asian stuff. One of the rich guys I know, I showed up to his house one time, he was in a commode. Every culture has a sense of self and a community rooted in its core values and the things that mean. I mean, Hispanics have the quinceañera, the Jews have, I forgot what they do, but they got that thing with them. They become 15 and whatnot. Everybody has a big celebration and something that requires them to invest in their community. So part of our job in the dog community is to impact it by being hands-on and showcasing what dogs can do and how to live, love, and take care of dogs and be realistic in every one of our approaches. But whatever you think we're doing, I'm sure you have no idea. Because when you're looking left, I'm looking right. Or if you're looking right, I'm looking left. And no matter what's going on, I'm always looking up. How do we scale up? How do we change things? And I would encourage you to read. But if you're watching this and you enjoy anything that we've done, anything that we're doing, you've been a part of this process. For one, thank you. Gratitude is one of the highest forms of humanity. I appreciate your time and energy in that regard. And if you actually want to do better in life and you don't know how, trust me, 99, if not 100% of the world doesn't know. So you're as good as your settings, as good as your surroundings. If ever you get distracted, 9 out of 10 times it's because of people. Be mindful and wary of the people that you have around you. Most of them do not really think about progress. My guy asked the other day, he said, how do you get out of your own way? So you got to get rid of people. I said it on my Instagram today, but I saw a motivational guy, long story short. He said humans are the only people who live a limited life. Because a tree never thinks, I've grown tall enough, I'm done growing. It just keeps growing. And the same thing with animals. And I said, I watched something on TikTok one time and it was kind of sad. It was, it looked like an antelope or some African reindeer type thing. And they was running from these lions, these cheetahs, man. And them jokers got that baby. And that poor mama, she said, I got to go. I'm sorry. So in this life, if you cannot survive, you will be killed. In the wild. And because we have the choice as humans, we can think to do less and be less. And that in itself is always poor. It's a poor mentality, and I don't live there. So if you want something to change your life, change the people. Change your settings. Change who you're with. And it'll normally change the direction that you're going. In this case, take care of your dogs. Be mindful of what's happening next. I probably said a lot of things and nothing at the same time, but all of it's to get you to think. I've watched a lot of stuff over my life. And hopefully we have a story long term that we're able to connect you to, but I felt this needed to be said. So stay tuned.